The gentleman, senator from Pennsylvania, who we learned just moments ago, he's okay, but he had a heart situation earlier today and he fell actually straight on his face, and he made a joke about it, telling people, well, if you thought I looked bad before, wait till you see me now. But here he is just last night talking about how, you can't just label an entire group of people as mean or bad because they want to actually get some reforms through. So this is the challenge that AOC is going to find. And I'm beginning to think that someone like Senator Fetterman is just going to have to switch sides. Here we go.
You said, quote, "I've drunk deeply of the venom of both the left and the right. As a connoisseur, I can confirm that the most poisonous, the bitterest, is from the far left." That is pretty remarkable to hear you say that as an elected Democrat. Why?
No. It's just been my personal experience on this thing. And when I asked my digital team, I said, we're on all the platforms, really what's kind of the harshest, what's kind of the most personal? And the answer was immediate. He said, oh, blue sky, it's blue sky. And the difference is, the right would say really rough things and names, some names I won't repeat on TV, but the on the left, it was like they want me to die, or that we're cheering for your next stroke, or that's terrible that depression won. Why couldn't it depression won? And I hope your kids find you. They even have like the graphic, a GIF where they have like a stroke, in your head, cheering at that. Yeah, and they said that. I remember one. They claimed, the doctor let us down, and why did they have to save his life? Just really like. I just can't imagine. People are wishing, I wish he dies, or I want him to die, literally cheering for a stroke. And I don't know what the kind of a place where that comes from. That's much different than just calling me a name. That's really been consistent, in that community online.
Yeah, that's pretty unbelievable. And now you think about him and his challenge that he faced just today. Just after saying this as recently as last night. So John Fetterman has been hospitalized. We were told he is in stable condition. He's good. He, made a joke about wait till you see me now, but it's a heart condition. And apparently he fainted as a result of this. And, it's just, it comes at a tough time when I think the party is really seeking this new direction. You've got AOC trying to hold people hostage and take it one way, while Fetterman is just actually trying to talk some common sense. As he tried to do on The View the other day. Good luck on, dealing with the likes of Sonny Houston and Whoopi Goldberg. I pity him. I feel for him. No wonder he's having a heart condition, for goodness sakes. I can say that only because we do know at this point he is safe and sound. He's in the hospital. He's doing okay, and he's getting the treatment he needs. But this was, 48 hours ago?
It was a horrific mistake. Governor Gavin Newsom called it pathetic and a surrender. Poll after poll found more Americans on both sides of the aisle blaming Republicans. Even Marjorie Taylor Greene blamed the GOP. As you mentioned, Democrats had big wins last week, so you had momentum. Why give in now? Why bring a butter knife to a gunfight? Are you willing to gamble that the GOP will negotiate on health care in good faith once the government reopens? Because if that gamble is wrong, 500,000 Pennsylvanians that you represent, their health care costs will skyrocket if you are wrong. And I believe you are wrong.
Well, first of all, MTG is quite literally the last person in America that I'm going to take advice or to get their kinds of my leadership and values from. And now if Democrats are celebrating crazy pants like that, then that's on them. And now I don't need a lecture. I don't need a lecture from whether it's Bernie or the governor in California, because they are representing very deep blue kinds of populations. And a lot of those things were part of the extreme. And now remember, what really needs to win, the big win, is involving my state and other states and those things. And why have we arrived here after the election a year ago? We want to forget we got to forget some of the things that cost us that election. Or now, for me, it's like, that's why I'm trying to remind people that kinds of the extremism, we can't return to those kind of things and realize we need to find a way forward. And I would like to, rather than cite MTG, I'm going to cite one of the new governor-elects saying that my election is not a green light to continue the shutdown, because I promise you, this isn't a political game. It is viewed by many of us, but the reality is 42 million Americans now not sure where their next meal is going to come from, and because we vote like that, or people that haven't been paid for 5 weeks now, and that kinds of chaos. Those workers have to borrow more than $500 million, from their credit union just to pay their bills now. So for me, we're in the middle of this.
Senator, I got to ask you to hold up.
Right, yeah, the opportune time for a commercial. I would just say this, you know what, and here's the headline. The Democrat Party needs him right now. They really, really need him. He again was hospitalized after a fall near his home, which is said to have caused minor injuries to his face. But this was after a guy who had a stroke before. And don't forget, he suffered from that pretty significantly. In this particular case, he felt lightheaded, we're told, which was due to a ventricular fibrillation flare-up. According to a statement issued by his team, ventricular fibrillation is a type of irregular heartbeat, and so it would make sense that you would run the risk of fainting with something like that. He's remaining in the hospital at this point for observation so that doctors can, quote, fine-tune his medicine, and his team said out of an abundance of caution, he was transported to a hospital in Pittsburgh, and it was revealed there that he had had a ventricular fibrillation flare-up that led to him feeling lightheaded, falling to the ground, hurting his face. And again, he's clearly come to, because he had this to say: if you thought my face looked bad before, wait until you see it now. So good sense of humor there from the senator. But I'm going to tell you guys, the party needs him. They desperately, desperately, desperately need him right about now, because it's being held hostage by the likes of Jasmine Crockett. We talked about her yesterday, and by AOC. So that is not a good scenario. I do want to just mention the market here, because I have my publication 76 Research, which we just put out a note. We just put out a note at 76 Research. I would actually encourage you. Let me see if I can actually get that on the screen. I hope I can. Maybe I can, maybe not. Okay, here we go. 76research.com. Go there, check it out today, because we had quite a wild ride there in the markets, and you've got stocks just trading way down today. Tech getting killed there amid concerns that the Fed is going to hold interest rates steady in the month of December. Now, the fear is that some people, Lisa Cook, maybe looking at you, I don't know, a few others on the Federal Reserve, are unwilling to move on interest rates because Donald Trump is president. And this is a situation where you actually kind of need to give a little bit more. You don't have any inflation in the economy. You got oil prices coming down. You've got, these home foreclosures. I believe that the latest statistic showed that they were way up. They were way up today at, I want to say, a 20-year high, but let me double check that. So this is not good. Okay, yes, no, forgive me, not a 20-year high, but rather you're seeing new foreclosures there jump 20%. The story coming to us on CNBC there earlier today. So 20% jump in home foreclosures, which would be a sign of distress, right, in the housing market. And this is what Donald Trump has been talking about for some time, that there is distress there. They are seeing it in the used car market as well, that people cannot afford these rates on these cars. And so what do you need to do in that case? You would make the case that you need to lower rates. And so that got the market a little bit nervous. And I'd also say this, there's this window dressing that they do among money managers, before year end. And if my colleague Rob Horton and I were really into that, I guess what we would do is we would actually move forward and say, hey, you know what? We will just sell all our stocks and we will look like we are heroes, right, at the end of the year. But we're not doing that, because we are big believers in sort of long-term investing. And so we have great research for you there. I would take a look at it, especially when you see these dips or as we like to think about them. And everybody, by the way, I'm going to, caution you, everybody has a different circumstance and time horizon, if you would. But Rob and I still remain pretty committed to tech and to a lot of cryptos. I know that annoys Don Baca, but it is something that we're a big sort of believer in, if you would. And we have no reason to tell you this other than we want you to do well. We want to do well, right? We want those portfolios to do well. So go check that out. You can get my newsletter there at 76research.com. It is fantastic to have you all here. Make sure that you subscribe, that you share, that you like, and you make a comment. Let me know, what do you think of the market downturn? Do you think this is here to stay, or is this just a blip? Do you think that the Federal Reserve is getting political and is deliberately trying to undermine the Trump economy as we head into midterms? And what do you think should happen with Letitia James and James Comey? I want to know. Leave a comment. Make sure you subscribe, share, like. Good to have you all here. And I will see you back live on the Trish Regan Show tomorrow.